Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 26th day of April 2022 as we continue the special coverage of the arrival, or rather of the body viewing of the late President Mwai Kibaki. We are live on location in Parliament where different Kenyans have been making their way there to come and view the body. We're also at Harambee House where we understand that different leaders are starting off with the signing of the condolences book, and specifically at different offices. We know that the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Matiang'i, was to lead the process at Harambee Avenue. We also know that CS Mutahi Kagwe is doing so at Afya House. So as the public service begins the process of signing the condolences book in honor of President Mwai Kibaki. But I'm still here in studio with Kioko Mwinzi, who was telling us about his story of how he benefited from the free primary education to the extent that he joined Standard 1 at the age of 11. You had gotten to the point of telling me your relationship with the fellow pupils in Standard 3. You were 14 years old at that time. Your classmates were either 8 or 7 years. So who are your friends in school?
Honestly, what I did was to recline to myself. So I became an introvert, straight. Like, I wouldn't talk to anyone. I was just a man of my own kind. So I lived my life alone. Mm-hmm. And it felt better that way, because they wouldn't understand what I was going through, because all the challenges, I wouldn't face them alone. And it was better that way, rather than broadcasting everything to them.
You didn't have friends in the senior classes?
No. What I would have, I would call them friends. They're just people I would inquire, maybe ask for assistance with questions, things like those. They were there, those ones, especially actually even from other schools. So I would, because from our home, I had to walk like about 5 kilometers somewhere to get someone to study with.
Yeah.
That is one, to hide myself, the real identity from the colleagues. So mostly I would work with the students from other schools. So like asking...
So there were not many like you in school? Not many of you had been so underprivileged to miss a position in school before the free primary education?
They were there, yes, but most of them you find that they were people who I could not identify with.
Okay.
Yes, because I considered myself to be a bit lower than everybody else. So I would feel better alone or with people who don't know much about me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about, at that time, being in school, the student population, the pupil population, how was it? And was it a direct outcome of the free primary education?
Let's say around 60% was as a result of free primary education. Because actually I remember, like, in a whole class you'll find like 50% of the students do not even have the school uniforms. So that tells you these are people who have just come in because of the free primary program. Yes, so I would say that most of the students enrolled at that time because of the free primary education, and without it, they would have been outside there.
So in 2010, you sit your KCP. How was it preparing for that alongside your fellow pupils? Now, at least now they are grown, they're about 13 or 14.
So continuously I worked alone. I became a loner, even in my performances. Like, I would sometimes get 400 maybe, and you find that the second one is struggling down there, you know. So what I did, I decided not to compete with anyone in my school, and just set my own targets. Although there had been some students performing before me, but my bar was somewhere else, because I really wanted to go to a national school. That was my target. And so I would work alone mostly, but I had people I would like to emulate sometimes.
Right.
But mostly I was working alone, and I used to do something, I used to call it transnighting. So I would study...
What night?
Transnighting.
Oh, transnighting, okay.
That is studying from 7 in the evening to 7 in the morning.
Wow. When did you sleep?
I wouldn't sleep. So mostly I would do that during the weekends.
Okay. So what did you score in primary school?
I got 358.
358. And where did you go to?
I went to Lenana.
How is that? It's a national school.
Lenana School is a national school.
The cutoff would have been higher than that.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Actually, I freaked when I got those results. Because the final exam I had done, I had 415, I think. So coming now to the KCP, I get 358. Like, actually, I remember I screamed my lungs out because I was like, I'm done, you know. I set my bar there because I knew at least if I get 400,
easier for you.
The sponsorships will be forthcoming or something like that. So when I didn't get that, it scared me. But I don't know how it happened. I didn't go to Mangu because I wanted to go to Mangu, but God gave me a chance at Lenana School, and it was a dream accomplished.
That's what I'm asking. How did that happen? Because the cutoff points would have been higher than that.
So what happened, I was the best in the district.
Okay.
In the public school categories. And in the year 2010, I think they were using the regions to ensure that there is that balancing.
Okay.
So I think that's how I survived.
So how was your experience at Lenana?
Traumatizing, I would say.
Why?
I expected to get a scholarship when I passed because there was nothing at home, absolutely nothing.
Who paid for you?
So initially, during the enrollment, there was nobody to pay. So what I did, I left home with 10,000. I don't know where mom got that 10,000 from, but I left home with only 10,000 in my pocket as the school fee, everything, shopping and everything. So I didn't have a school uniform. So remember, my shoes were only slippers. So I left with my slippers, went to Lenana the same way. So some people decided to get me a box and a little bit of shopping before I got to school. But that's how I went to school, in slippers, without school uniform, and no school fees. So when I arrived there, I remember I lost my consciousness or something happened. Because I found some guys had come with choppers, some guys had been, there are cars everywhere. You are in a t-shirt, it's not a school uniform. I remember at the gate, the watchman stopped me and they were like, where are you going like this? And I'm like, I'm supposed to be admitted here. So finally what happened is that the guidance and counseling department had my story, because when I arrived there and saw what was happening, I knew I wasn't going to be admitted. So I went back somewhere behind the administration block and slept. Just slept, literally, completely. Slept there like for around an hour. So my mom later came with the guidance and counseling HOD. She picked me. I'm forever grateful for her. Her name was Reverend Masika. She's the mother to the singer. So she picked me and she told me one thing. Kyoko, you are going to study here. And those words gave me the confidence again to stand up again and pursue the dream that I had all those years. So she took me, she clothed me. Literally like top to bottom. Together with the housemaster. So they bought for me everything that I needed to be admitted. And so at around 4, that's when I was sent to my house. That is, Carrie Francis was my house. So I never lined to be admitted because I didn't have any school uniform. There were no things to be inspected. So I was taken straight to the admission table, given the admission number. There were no inspection, sent straight to the house. And that's how my life began at Lenana.
So eventually you got, that Reverend Masika is the one who sponsored you?
She didn't sponsor me, but she ensured that I got the chance to be there.
Okay.
So now the journey of pain and turmoil began there. Because you realize that Yes, I've been through free primary education. I have no helper, no sponsor, no nothing at that point. So back then, Kalonzo Musyoka was the vice president. So my mom went to plead a case to him. So he said he was going to pay the school fees for me. So, and actually he did. For Form 1, Form 2. 2013 was an electioneering year. He was not elected. So what happened? He withdrew. And I'm left at Atlanta to pay over 100,000 with nobody else in forthcoming.
So fast forward, you sit your KCSE, which year was this?
That is 2014.
2014.
Yes.
How did you fare?
How
did you fare in KCSE?
I got an A-. Yes.
How many points?
77.
77. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And we're still, of course, following the proceedings of what's going on at Parliament and different locations as we wait for Kenyans, of course, to get that opportunity to pay their last respects to former President Kibaki, President, that is Moi Kibaki, and of course ahead of many events that are lined up, including today that we know that different public officers are leading their offices in signing the condolences book at different locations. From Harambee Avenue, we know that Hassan Mugambi is there. We also know that other locations, for instance, Afya House, where Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe is expected to lead the officers of the Afya House or Health Department in doing so. Of course, you may recall that Moi Kibaki is a former minister in charge of health, alongside many other dockets that he led. So as soon as we are ready to listen to the voices from location, we'll be sure to bring them on board so that we can hear what they have to say. But I am told that Stephen Leto first, we listen to him. He has been in Othaya, where the preparations for the funeral or the burial that will happen on Saturday have been ongoing. Stephen Leto, good morning. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Sam. Indeed, from this side of Othaya, things are beginning to gain pace in terms of the preparations. From the home of the late President retired Emilia Mwai Kibaki in Iriaini area, we see that there has been heightened activities from last evening when, those that are supposed to, erect the tents inside, the VIP tents, because they have divided the home into two, particularly, although we have not been allowed to, get in, but we're told they've divided the home into two. There's a section that will accommodate 500 dignitaries, as well as another section that is next to the graveside that will only accommodate 100 dignitaries who will, lay the flowers on the graveside, and of course an additional 100 for the, coordinators as well as the members of the Catholic choir who will be, in charge or coordinating the graveside on Saturday. That is how the home has been divided. But again, back to the approved grounds in Othaya, where the main burial ceremony will take place. Already also there are activities that are taking place in terms of just preparations to, have a tent set up. We are yet to know how many people will that particular grounds accommodate, but we are told that is the exact grounds that also the late Mama Lucy Kibaki, her burial ceremony was held there. So clearly the number of people who attended the late Mama Lucy's funeral service in Othaya will likely be almost the same number, but that is subject to confirmation from the burial committee that we are told he will also be meeting today to make more announcement and more clarifications on issues that will be taking place. Of course, we are in Othaya CDF offices where Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, who is the chair of this burial arrangement, said that a condolences book will be brought here so that members or those in Othaya can be able to come and just append their condolences in that book. But of course, as of now, we are yet to see the long queues that we anticipated for the locals here in Othaya to troop to the CDF offices just to pen their condolences messages to that book that will be handed over to the family. But there are some of those who have attended and who really wish to get some of their views. Tell us your name, and are you waiting for that moment to sign the condolence book?
Once again, thank you so much. My name is Waidaka Kenywa. I work here as a youth representative. Of course, we are still doing the condolence book here. It's the books are already in our office here. We are still inviting the public, and let me see, we are mourning like Othayans, my friend. And of course, here, so many people used to love Mzee because he used to work for us. He did a lot of electricity. We have so many roads in Othaya. Of course, let me say, we are expecting a lot of people to come and do the signing of the condolence book.
How about the burial arrangements? Are there anticipation that there are those who might really miss from the occasion owing to space and all that?
Of course, we don't mind because we are going to. Some of us are going to watch through the media, and at least most of us we are going to go to the approved ground, which is allowed 100 meters from here. So at least we are going to be accommodated as Othayans.
Thank you. Maybe also tell us your name. And
okay. My name is Kevin Warue. I'm the president of the Othaya Polytechnic, and next year for the CDF. Let me say I have signed the book, and I appreciate that a lot because that is the accept of the Mheshimiwa Kibaki, and we are very glad, like the people of Othaya, to get that chance to sign. Because some of us they will not make it to go to Nairobi. Maybe we appreciate there's something to come here. People we're telling fellow Othaya peoples to come and sign. And I think that will be most important thing to accept our Kibaki.
The body viewing is already ongoing in Nairobi, the National Assembly. What do the people over there say in terms of, are there some who really wanted to travel to Nairobi to, take part in that body viewing?
Let me say some of them, they are already going there because there's some classes that are given by Mheshimiwa Shoke Mugambi here to go there to see the body. And I think from starting today and tomorrow, it will be a big numbers from here going there to view the body there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Those are some of the views of those who have already, come to this ground. Some we've seen only 30 people have been able to get here and sign that condolence book that was here since yesterday. We have also seen, gone through the list of the 30, and I've seen one very close friend of Kibaki called Bernard Murugi. He is, according to what he wrote in that condolence book, is that they schooled together with Mwai Kibaki during the early ages, and he has referred to Kibaki as a close friend that he never wanted to get away from. And clearly him getting here as one of the first people to sign the condolence book, painting a picture of how many more that Kibaki touch really want to get here and sign the condolence book. Already there is order that has been issued here in terms of just the procedures of how you go and sign that book, in terms of there are those who usher you in, and they also show you where the book is. There are several seats there, so as one is signing, others are seated awaiting for their turn to come. So that is the situation, Sam. We continue hearing some helicopters hovering around here, clear indication that matters preparations will be escalating going into the afternoon. But remember, Sam, Saturday is already closing in for the people of Othaya, who are waiting to receive thousands of mourners in this funeral service that will be taking place in approved grounds in Othaya before the body is taken to the home in Kibaki's home in Othaya, where already also preparations are underway in terms of the graveside preparations, as well as where the sitting space that most of the dignitaries that will be led by President Uhuru Kenyatta will be seated. Sam.
Indeed, a very comprehensive statement of what's going on back there. And thank you so much, Stephen Leto, for that. We'll be sure to join you later on for other developments. Now, I want to bring you back to Nairobi, where Hassan Mugambi, like I told you earlier on, has been following up on the start of signing of the condolences book at public offices, and he is at Harambee House. This is an office that President Kibaki occupied for over 10 years that he was president, and this is the place that that process of signing the condolences book began. Hassan, good morning. What can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Sam. What I can say is that Fred Matiang'i, the chairman of the National Funeral Committee, Steering Committee, and also Interior Cabinet Secretary, has just kicked off the condolence book signing exercise here at Harambee House, where seniors and even junior civil servants will be streaming in at that tent in the corner of this establishment, just to get to sign the condolence book and write the message, given that most of them here are state officers who have worked both under Kibaki and under President Uhuru Kenyatta, so they know the kind of boss that they had in those 10 years that he occupied the offices right behind me. So they will be coming here and they will be signing that book that will finally be handed over to the president, to President Kibaki's family, and of course go into the annals of history as some of those public servants of this time that mourned a fallen former commander-in-chief. So what you can see at the extreme end of this establishment is the condolence the tent where the condolence book is, and officers from the Interior Ministry just ushering in senior and also junior public servants who are streaming in from different ministries. A communication has already been made for them to be here and sign that book. Later on today, we are expecting also that the National Funeral Steering Committee will be addressing to just give us an update of what exactly is transpiring on these areas, and we will perhaps be speaking to some of them. Could you kindly speak to us and tell us? Okay, so they are just, because of protocol and all, we are at the office of the president. We could just not find the right person to speak to us here, but then again, it is an exercise that will go on from today all the way to sunset, so all the way to the time that the body of the late President Kibaki will be lowered into his grave at Othaya. So we are expecting an address from the committee, and they will be giving us an update of where the preparations are, and also later on we'll be headed to Parliament buildings, where Kenyans continue to trickle in to just pay their last respect to President Kibaki before his burial. To remember, this is the second day that his body is laying in state at Parliament building, with those officers who usually, just be there in every corner of that body, just standing at attention to be with him, because he, having been a commander-in-chief, he will not be alone even in death, and that is why those ones are usually there just to put up a show and take turns in every 3 hours or so of just standing guard, who will be next to the body. So we will be headed to that direction, Sam, and we will be speaking to some of those Kenyans and leaders alike who have presented themselves to bid goodbye to the late President Kibaki.
Hassan, do we know the guest list or the people that will be coming to pay tribute to the late president in terms of foreign dignitaries?
Well, we're yet to establish. It is a wait and see. We will be waiting to see that. But what we know is that it's an open invitation to all government employees as well as dignitaries from across across the globe will be just streaming into Harambee House to put pen to paper in that book and just say what it is that they feel in their heart about the fallen president, as well as just leaving a message to the family of the late President Kibaki. So we will be waiting to see who will be coming in, because it is just early. Who we saw earlier was the head of public service, as well as the cabinet secretary for interior and his peers, and a couple of other senior directors within the Ministry of Interior. The rest of the ministries are also, it is replicated across the country. Remember, in all interior ministry offices, we have the condolence book that has been sent, and it will be signed later on to be handed to the family.
All right, thank you so much, Hassan Mugambi, joining us from Harambee Avenue to speak to us about the start of the signing of the condolences book. This is an exercise that is going on at different public offices, and of course it is in honor of a president that steered this country for over 10 years. We are still at Parliament buildings, where the body of President Kibaki lies in state for a second day. This is the second last. Of course, the last day will be tomorrow, ahead of those other ceremonies that are to be undertaken later in the week. On Friday, funeral service, and on Saturday, the burial in Nyeri County. But Kioko Mwinzi, as we wind up on this, so you get an A-, and now you go to join Masinde Muliro University, right? And you choose a course. I mean, for you, when you reflect back to that day in 2000 or 2001,
Yeah.
and see there was no sign of hope, and now you're where you are, what comes to mind on such a time that the country mourns President Kibaki?
I'm just grateful to the great leadership of Mwai Kibaki. And actually, I would say, even though we say that he's dead, to me, he's not dead. Because to me, he is, and he remains to be a godparent, not just for me, but for millions of kids like me. So, and godfathers or godparents never die. They just transition.
Right.
And I believe that wherever he is today, he'll still continue watching over us, and his spirit shall live on through us. The millions of kids who went to school because of him.
Did you ever meet him?
No, I never got to meet him.
You never used to? Or you never got a chance?
I never got a chance. Yes, so,
So
I tried once, but you know, the protocols and all that, I never did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you made an attempt to go at least pay your last respects to Parliament, at Parliament?
Today I will.
You will?
Yeah.
So when you meet a young person, because you've been through it all, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a painful journey to where you are,
Yeah.
to an extent that you cannot even make friends from your classmates. I mean, that's quite heavy.
Yeah.
But when you meet friends, younger children
Yeah.
that are in a similar situation,
Yeah.
what do you say to them? And what would you say to them?
Some, honestly, I tell this story to so many kids. Actually, right now I'm teaching, though it's a classical school, but they also do the KCSE exam, the NEC exams. But I always tell them one thing: never stop dreaming. Always dare to dream. You'll face the challenges. That's definitely going to happen. Because the reason as to why I told you my experience at Lenana was traumatizing was there were so many painful experiences as I was trying to get the school fees mostly. Actually, there's a time I walked all the way from Lenana because it's in Karen. And I walked all the way past Idhika, past Makongeni, went all the way to Matu. Matu, I don't know, maybe those who drive can tell us how many kilometers this is from Karen to Matu on your way to Mwingi. And at that point, I remember I hadn't eaten anything. So it was at midnight, around 12 midnight, and I hadn't eaten. So what happened is that all strength went out and I couldn't walk anymore. So I sat down somewhere. People came, I don't know how they noticed that I was in trouble. And they changad some money for me. I was taken to a hospital because actually I was in a very bad state. At that point, I was in Form 3. I'd like decided, let me go home, even if it's for a year, then I'll come back. So such things can traumatize you to an extent that you can give up on your dream. But a kid out there who has a dream, let him or her hold on to their dream. Dreamers never die.
And now you're a graduate. What are you doing with your degree? First of all, what was it? Computer science, software engineering?
Yes.
So what have you been doing with it since graduating in 2019?
I haven't been able to venture into my career. So what I'm doing right now, I've got to survive. So that means I have to work like anything that comes along. So I started a startup company for software, but it wasn't really developing. So what I did, I just shifted to employment. So that's why I went to a classical school, gave me a job. So currently I'm teaching. I'm a maths and computer teacher.
Okay.
There, yeah.
And your family, how are they doing?
They are well. Actually, I managed to take my small brother to school. So currently, he's actually in third year. Yeah.
Interesting. What is he studying?
Building and construction engineering.
Which university?
Masinda Muliro.
Masinda Muliro, or the same university like you did.
Exactly.
I mean, Kioko Mwinzi, this is quite a story, I have to say, and we are grateful that at least you got that opportunity through the politics and the policies of President Kibaki to get to this situation. And obviously, like Honorable Nikal said, there are many stories like yours of people that have gone through the same process. And today they can say that they got a chance to be where they are. So we can only wish you well and hope that at least you've already inspired your brother, which is a good thing. So the spirit lives on, like you said. And like I said, very important to be sharing these stories and exemplifying how politics influence real lives. And this continues. Kioko tells me that he'll later be going to Parliament, and those are the pictures we want to bring you now of what's going on as many Kenyans get to that facility to view the body of the late. That location you see there, that's the other exit from Parliament. These are people that have already viewed the body, so they are exiting through that area near the media center of Parliament. But as they come in, then they come in through the main entrance on the side of the Senate to view the body of the late president. Those are the pictures that we will keep our cameras on to bring you the latest from that location, linking with different reporters. And of course, I understand that the Supreme Court Judge, Njoki Ndung'u, is making her way into Parliament to pay that respect. You may remember her as a nominated member of Parliament in the Parliament that was very instrumental in passing the Sexual Offences Act that has really revolutionized how the country deals with such offences. And of course, now she is a member of the bench. She was a member of Parliament between 2002 and 2007, and later became a judge of the Supreme Court around the year 2012 that she has been sitting so far. And of course, they worked so closely with the President Kibaki in the first term. Of course, in that coalition that brought together different political parties. For her, she came from Safina Party, if I remember correctly. So those are the pictures. Thank you so much, Kioko, for making time for us, and we wish you well in everything that you have to go through. And let's now allow you to listen to what's going on at Parliament.
Let's go.
All right, those are live images of what's going on at Parliament, and those voices you hear of the choir that is animating that procession and has been doing that since yesterday, and of course they will be there until tomorrow as that process comes to an end. And this day, as Kenyans pay their last respects, is also to remind you of what's going on at different offices, public offices. The officers are being led in signing the condolences book or books that will thereafter be submitted to the family, that when they get an opportunity they can read what Kenyans have to say about the former president. And of course here at Citizen TV we continue to bring you the latest and bring you all the angles and the dimensions of this story as a country mourns its third president of the republic. My name is Sam Gituku. See you some other time. Up next will be Semana Citizen, where Rashid Abdallah and Lulu Hassan will be on board to take you through the next few hours of this special coverage of the final journey of President Kibaki. Bye for now.